Hi everyone, I'm Dave from MOT Juice, and it's that time again. The new special notice has come out. So special notice 04/2024 has been released. So as usual, we're going to go through it, see what the changes are, and then see what they mean to us. So we'll start off with the technical stuff first. So they've changed stuff in the suspension and braking systems. So insecure or missing locking devices are now a failure. In plain English, that just means nylocks, retention clips, split pins and castle nuts, and locking fluid like Loctite. If they're missing or insecure, it is now a fail. If you can't tell whether they're there, you need to give the benefit of the doubt. Next one is the wipers need to work automatically. So someone clever pointed out that in the guide, it just said the wipers need to work. If you keep pressing the stalk, they technically did. So they've updated it and they now require to work automatically when you put the stalk into the correct position. Seat belts and excessive damage. So the guide was vague, so they've clarified what they feel excessive damage is. Damage to a seatbelt used to be in the guide a few years ago, but they've taken it out through overuse. They've put it back in, however, and rumour has it a 4mm cut was found on a mystery shop, but it didn't fail. And it was successfully argued in the disciplinary meeting that all it says is the webbing needs to be significantly weakened. The tester didn't feel it was significantly weakened, so he got away with it. More about disciplinary stuff later, but anyway, they've spelt it out for you now. A 2mm cut on the edge or a 4mm cut in the middle, that's a fail. It's not all clear though. They start mentioning fraying and fluffing, but they don't state how much is too much fluffing. So we're going to go away, do a little bit of extensive research, do a video on what extensive fluffing is. Lastly is the wipers on a Mercedes EQE. So the special notice come out last time talking about the Mercedes EQE and getting access to it. So they've clarified that you don't need to take the wiper arms off when you do an MOT inspection. Whoever that's for, give your head a wobble. So now to the interesting bit with the updates in the testing guide that affects everyone. So in section B, equipment calibration, they've removed the part that says that you need to contact them if you can't get a piece of equipment calibrated in time. You might be thinking, oh, that's nice, thanks very much, one less job for me to do, but don't. It just means there's now no excuse. When a VE comes in, you can't say, oh, I rang up the DVSA, I spoke to Sharon, she was going to put a note on my file. It just means now that you need to stop using any equipment that is not calibrated. If they catch you, you are screwed. The next bit is emissions records in section H. If the emissions records are not available when requested, they will just assume that you've not done the test. You need to make sure that you keep all your emissions records for 3 months after the test. A digital copy is fine, but if you don't know how to access that on your machine and you can't produce it to a VE, they will just assume the tests aren't done and mark you down on it. Now here's an important one, tester's responsibility in section M. They've added a small line that puts all the responsibility onto the testers for the equipment that they use during a test. If a tester uses an uncalibrated decelerometer, for example, or uses an unapproved bit of equipment like a brake pad thickness gauge, the excuse of that's just what my boss gave me won't fly. The testers must ensure that all the equipment they are using for a test is calibrated, fit for use, and approved before they use it. They won't blame the site, they will blame the tester. So make sure that you're covering yourself. The next bit is they've added a fast track system to the disciplinary section. So this is a big one for me, and I think it's probably one of the most important bits of the whole notice so far. They've added a fast track, and they say that it's designed to provide less uncertainty for AEs and testers, but if you believe that, you'll believe anything. If they've got factual evidence of any shortcomings that can be documented and you don't contest them, you get a ticket to the fast track system. If they've got evidence that you've logged the wrong vehicle on for a test, remember that video I did about getting the details directly from the vehicle, missing a number of items on the mystery shop, or had a vehicle re-inspected and they find things that you didn't, or you've incorrectly categorized those defects, they can now put you on the fast track process. And if you haven't had your collar felt before, you've not been in trouble, they can issue you sanctions, points, and cessations quicker. I'm sure that you can appeal it, but there was that bit in the last special notice that under good repute saying that you should accept the results of your actions. So that might go against you there. All of these little changes that they've done over the last 3 or 4 special notices, they're just little tweaks, little adds here, there, and everywhere, and they're just closing the loopholes in the guide. You've now got less wriggle room if you've ever done anything wrong. And if you get into trouble, you won't be able to talk your way out of it as easy. It's never been more important to make sure that your sites remain compliant and your testing practices are up to scratch. If they don't, the DVSA is going to get you. Remember, we're testers, you're testers. Let's stick together.